December 20th, 2025. Spooky Scrapbook.
Merry Christmas!
Everywhere else, Christmas wraps up after New Year's. But in Puerto Rico, please, forget it. We don't just do Noche Buena and Navidad. We stack Año Nuevo, Los Tres Reyes Magos, and just when outsiders think it's finally over, surprise Octavitas. 8 more days of parandas, food, and way too much coquito, which means our Christmas lasts nearly 2 months. The longest holiday season in the world. At first it feels magical. Every street has lights, music blasts from every house. There's a lechon on every table. But after a while, people start asking, is this celebration or endurance training? Because your wallet is empty, your liver is crying for mercy, and still someone's inviting you to una paranda más. Some call it proof of how much Puerto Ricans love life. Others call it excess, dressed up as tradition. So what do you think? Is Puerto Rican Christmas truly the best in the world, or just the most exhausting marathon on Earth? 10 disturbing Christmas traditions from around the world. 1. Krampus, Austria and Germany. Script. In Austria, Santa doesn't just bring gifts, he brings a demon. Krampus roams the streets on December 5th, beating children with chains, dragging some away in baskets to be punished for a full year. Every Christmas season, people dress as Krampus and chase crowds through the streets. This is Europe's darkest holiday tradition, and it's still celebrated today. 2. The Yule Lads and Grilla, Iceland. Script. Iceland doesn't have one Santa. They have 13 Yule Lads, each one a goblin with a specific crime. They lick spoons, slam doors, steal food, and peek through windows. Their mother, Grilla, is a giant ogress who eats misbehaving children at Christmas. Forget Santa. Iceland's Christmas is pure nightmare fuel. 3. La Befana, Italy. Script. While we wait for Santa, Italy waits for a witch. La Befana rides a broom, enters homes through chimneys, and leaves gifts or coal. According to legend, she refused to join the wise men to visit baby Jesus. So now she's cursed to roam the earth forever, searching for the child she never met. 4. The Mari Lwyd, Wales. Script. In Wales, a skeletal horse covered in ribbons knocks on your door at Christmas and challenges you to a rhyming battle. If the horse wins, it gets to come into your house and drink your beer. Locals call it the Mari Lwyd, the ghost horse of Christmas. Imagine opening your door to a corpse on a stick that wants to out-rap you. 5. Kalikansaroy, Greece and the Balkans. Script. In Greece, goblins climb down chimneys at Christmas. The Kalikansaroy come out only during the 12 days of Christmas to terrorize families, stealing food, ruining decorations, scaring children. Some old traditions say priests burned incense and even animal hair to drive them out of the home. 6. Night of the Radishes, Mexico. Script. In Mexico, Oaxaca celebrates Christmas with grotesque radish carvings. For over 100 years, artists carved demons, executions, and twisted biblical scenes from giant red radishes. It's beautiful and deeply unsettling. Christmas vegetables have never looked so cursed. 7. Japan's Christmas KFC tradition. Script. In Japan, Christmas dinner isn't turkey, it's KFC. Millions of families order buckets of fried chicken because of a marketing campaign from the 70s that convinced people Americans ate KFC at Christmas. Now families wait hours in line for a fast food tradition created entirely by accident. 8. Tio de Nadal, Spain. Script. In Catalonia, families put a smiling face on a wooden log, feed it every night, and beat it with sticks on Christmas morning until it poops presents. This log is called Tio de Nadal, the Christmas poop log. Kids literally sing, "Poop out candy log, or we'll hit you again." holiday spirit is wild in Spain. 9. The Christmas spider legend, Ukraine. Script. In Ukraine, Christmas trees are decorated with spider ornaments in shimmering webs. It comes from a legend of a poor family who couldn't afford decorations. They woke up to find the tree covered in magical spider webs that turn gold in the sunlight. Some believe the webs attract the spirits of the dead who return home for Christmas night. 10. The burning of the Gavla goat, Sweden. Script. Every year, Sweden builds a giant 40-foot straw goat to mark the start of Christmas. And every year, someone tries to burn it down. Despite cameras, guards, fences, the goat has been torched, bombed, shot with fireworks, hit by cars, and once attacked by a man dressed as Santa carrying a crossbow. Sweden's holiday tradition? Chaos.
Night 1. The Caroller at the Gate. On Christmas Eve, when the frost clung to the windows like pale lace, my mother warned us never to answer the door after the final bell. For the dead, she said, remember their old roots. We laughed as children do, until the singing began. It was just past midnight when the carol drifted down the lane, soft, sweet, and terribly wrong. A single voice singing, God rest you merry gentlemen, but never reaching the end. My father lifted the candle and peered through the glass. There stood a man in a long coat, dusted white with snow, his breath unmoving, his eyes fixed upon our door. The knock came once, then twice. Mother whispered, do not let him finish the song. We blew out the candle, and in the darkness, the carol stopped, just short of the final verse. Every Christmas since, we leave a candle burning on the step, because last year, he knocked a third time.
Milwaukee, 1894. A silent Christmas Eve, and a ghost had stunned the city. This video is made for entertainment purposes only. The First Unitarian Church on East Ogden Avenue, a Gothic Revival landmark built in 1891. By December 1894, this church wasn't known for sermons and stained glass. It became the center of one of Milwaukee's most chilling ghost stories. On dark, moonless nights, townfolk claim to see a luminous specter. A glowing outline of a person drifting near the church's grand entrance. Some said the figure hovered silently, flickering in and out like a candle swing in the wind. No footsteps, no sound, just a faint, ghostly glow, the kind of sight that turns blood cold. The sightings grew frequent, and soon the story made the newspapers. On one December night, a bold young woman, curious or thrill-seeking, donned a white sheet and tried to imitate the ghost. But when she ran from police, her disguise fell. The sheet flew off. She was caught. Her stunt confirmed. The real phantom had now been unmasked. To this day, no one knows what the churchgoers saw. Optical illusion, trick of the light, a restless spirit, or something bolder. But on a cold Christmas Eve in Milwaukee, if the wind is still and the streetlights flicker, maybe you'll glimpse a glow at the First Unitarian's doorstep and wonder, would you dare to visit on Christmas Eve? Drop a snowflake if you believe in ghosts. Till next video, stay curious, friends.
Did you know that telling ghost stories was once a popular Christmas tradition in Victorian England? This practice dates back to ancient winter solstice celebrations when people believed the veil between the living and the spirit world was thin. Victorians revived it, with Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol being a famous example. Ghost stories reflected themes of reflection, morality, and redemption, aligning with Christmas's introspective nature. Families in England would gather around fires on dark winter nights to share eerie tales, fostering connection and warmth. Though it faded in the 20th century, this tradition is now making a nostalgic comeback in books, films, and podcasts. As the flickering flames danced, stories of restless spirits and moral lessons wove a rich fabric of entertainment that brought families closer together during the festive season. The characters in these tales often mirrored the struggles and virtues of everyday life, making them resonate deeply with listeners. Over time, the tradition encouraged gatherings that promoted storytelling as an art form, strengthening bonds through the shared experience of suspense and fear.
Did you ever wonder that when Christmas comes about, we hear this iconic Christmas song, not Mariah Carey, Andy Williams, The Most Wonderful Time of the Year. And in that song, he mentions ghost stories. Now, there's a little history that I'm going to give you on why ghost stories are in his song and why we tell ghost stories on Christmas. Many, many, many years ago, it was tradition to go cut down a Yule log, burn it to ward off the evil spirits, and of course to keep warm when the winter began and it was frigid. The Yule log was also the symbol of the rebirth of the sun, because in the winter months, it of course gets darker earlier, so you have less sun and more darkness. So it was almost like a symbolism for the people of that time. During the burning of the Yule log, people gathered around and told ghost stories, and it was a way of them bonding and keeping together at the darkest times of the year, when darkness would last longer than sunlight. Ultimately, this became a tradition for many, many years until one group ended it. After, give or take, almost 700 years of this Yule log tradition, the Puritans said enough is enough and they wanted to come and change everything. Until one man many years later came and saved Christmas with a simple story. In 1843, Charles Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol, which included elements of the paranormal in a Christmas-themed book. Not only did Charles Dickens' book help bring back telling ghost stories, it helped people's morale during the Industrial Revolution. During the Industrial Revolution, people were working long hours inside of factories. And inside of the Christmas Carol book by Charles Dickens, it is a message about being better around the time of Christmas, helping people and giving. Of course, we've seen that portrayed by many actors and actresses throughout the course of history in Christmas movies. So Charles Dickens not only helped rejuvenate ghost stories, it also helped with the people at the time that were being treated poorly, working long hours in these factories. It gave them hope that within this book, people would actually start to practice being better, treating people better, and spending time with one another, including their families. The more you know about ghost stories on Christmas with Charles Dickens.
It was Christmas Eve, and as a tradition, I stayed up late decorating the tree after everyone went to bed. Each ornament I placed felt heavy with nostalgia. This video is made for entertainment purposes only. Near the bottom of the box, I found an ornament I didn't recognize, a small glass figure of a child in a red coat. Its painted face seemed almost too lifelike, the tiny eyes glinting in the soft glow of the lights. I didn't remember buying it, but it was beautiful, so I hung it near the top of the tree. As I stepped back to admire my work, I heard a faint giggle. It wasn't playful. It was cold, sharp, and far too close. I spun around, but the room was empty. When I looked back at the tree, the ornament had moved. It was lower now, dangling right in front of my face. Its eyes seemed to be staring straight into mine. The lights flickered, and the room grew freezing cold. That's when I heard it. The faint sound of small footsteps behind me. Turning slowly, I saw her. A little girl in a red coat, her face pale, her eyes black as coal. She smiled, her voice echoing like a song through the silent house. You shouldn't have touched it. The lights went out. The next morning, my family found the tree fully decorated. The little girl ornament was gone, but at the base of the tree lay a tiny glass figure of me. What a creepy story. And while filming this video, I remembered something weird from when I was a kid. Every Christmas, I'd open this box of ornaments, and inside, there were these beautiful wooden ones. But here's the thing, I never remembered my mom buying them, and I went everywhere with her. They just appeared, and they always felt creepy. So So I have to ask, have you ever found an ornament that didn't belong to you? Or heard strange sounds around your Christmas tree? Here's a paranormal curiosity challenge for you. Hear me out. Tonight, take a picture of your Christmas tree and look closely at the ornaments. If you see one you don't remember hanging, or if something feels off, comment below and let us know. But be careful. They say once you notice her, she starts to notice you too. Till next video, stay curious, friend.
Most people think A Christmas Carol is a cozy Christmas tale, but its 4 ghosts were meant to terrify Victorian readers. Each spirit wasn't just supernatural, they were symbols of death, regret, and the terrifying consequences of a wasted life. And Dickens designed them to feel like real hauntings. First comes Jacob Marley, wrapped in chains he forged in life, a warning that guilt never dies. Then the ghost of Christmas past, glowing like a flickering candle, gentle but unsettling like a memory you can't escape. The ghost of Christmas present arrives next, a towering prophetic figure whose laughter hides a brutal truth, that ignorance and want will consume the world. And finally, the ghost of Christmas yet to come, silent, faceless, a hooded spectre who shows Scrooge his death and the chilling future no one can outrun. But here's the darkest secret. Dickens based these ghosts on real Victorian death superstitions.
You know A Christmas Carol, right? Scrooge, Marley, and the Ghost of Christmas Past. But what if I told you that Charles Dickens might not have made that up? Now, was his iconic ghost story based on a real haunting in his home? Let's uncover the haunted history behind one of literature's most famous phantoms. Charles Dickens didn't just write ghost stories, he actually believed in them. And long before Scrooge had met his spirit, Dickens claimed to have had his own share of some ghostly experiences of his own. Dickens was obsessed with the supernatural. He edited a magazine called All Year Round that frequently featured real ghost accounts. He even joined the Ghost Club of London, one of the first paranormal investigation societies. One of Dickens' homes, Gad's Hills Place, was rumored to be haunted. He spoke of hearing footsteps, code drafts, and furniture that just moved on its own. He was also fascinated by the idea of ghosts being the moral messengers. In 1843, during one of the darkest winters of his life, Dickens sat down to write A Christmas Carol. It wasn't just a story, it was a mission. He wanted to scare people with titans, but what other way to do that but with ghosts? From Jacob Marley chains to the Silent Grim Reaper, like ghosts of Christmas yet to come, these spirits wasn't just fictional fluff. They mirrored the ghost stories Dickens grew up with. Ghost stories were a major part of the Victorian Christmas tradition, and possibly Saul himself. Families would gather around the fire and tell tales of haunted halls and lost souls. So when Dickens published A Christmas Carol, he wasn't inventing a new tradition, he was reviving one. It was a social critique wrapped in holiday spirit, combining history, spiritualism, and empathy. So was Dickens just a literary genius, or did he have otherworldly help in writing A Christmas Carol? His story helped shape how we think about ghosts and Christmas. Drop your theory in the comments, fiction, fact, or full-on haunting. Tag a ghost lover for more haunted holiday history, where every classic tale hides a chilling.
If you enjoy ghost stories but want one rooted in chilling tradition, listen closely. The tale of the Mistletoe Bride is as haunting as it is unforgettable. At Bramshill House in Hampshire, they say a wedding once ended in a game of hide and seek. Anne, some call her Geneva, slipped away in her white gown, eager for one last thrill. As guests searched every shadowy corner, the celebration turned uneasy. Days passed, then years, with no sign of the bride. Sir Hugh, her husband, never stopped searching. Decades later, a forgotten door revealed an old oak chest, locked tight. Inside, the vanished bride, still clutching her faded bouquet, waiting to be found. Now, those who visit Bramshill House sometimes sense her. A whisper of lilies, a chill in the hall, a white figure passing by. They say the mistletoe bride still waits for someone to find her. Will you be the next to hear her call on a cold December night?
I'm a ghost. Every time you hit the phone, I'm a ghost. Now you see me, now you don't. Hey, I know it's inconvenient.
This is the scary story of the Mistletoe Bride. It was Christmas Eve, and the grand manor was alive with celebration. Among the guests was a young bride, radiant in her wedding gown, with a crown of mistletoe in her hair. Full of holiday cheer, she proposed a game of hide-and-seek, declaring she would hide first. Laughing, she dashed off to find a perfect spot while the others counted. The search began, and the guests scoured every corner of the house. Their laughter faded as minutes turned to hours, and the bride was nowhere to be found. The mood shifted from festive to frantic. Her new husband led the search, calling her name, but she never answered. Days became weeks, and the household fell into mourning. No one could explain where she had gone. Years later, on another Christmas Eve, a servant cleaning the attic discovered an old trunk. Curious, he forced it open and froze in horror. Inside were the bride's remains, still in her gown, clutching wilted mistletoe. She had hidden in the trunk, and the heavy lid had locked her inside. Her cries had been drowned out by the music and laughter below. Since then, her ghost is said to haunt the manor. On quiet Christmas nights, people claim to hear faint knocking or the soft whisper of her voice, still calling, "Come and find me."
Life's better with a snowman in front of your house.